place that light is afraid to touch, where the monsters beneath your bed and hiding behind your fear refuse to travel. Do you dare? Is your mind capable of the sights you will see? Is your body prepared for the sounds you will hear? Is your spirit up to the challenge of what you soon may feel? If so, have a seat with the seductress of the dark, Sarah Terror, the Sultan of Sadism, Chunky Larry, and the Clown Prince of Fear, Arlie Grind. This is the Ghoul Kids Table.
Greetings, fellow insomniacs, and welcome to the table. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ghoul Kids Table podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. I'm your host, I'm your friend in fright. My name is Chunky Larry, and joining us today is a collection of ghouls that I enjoy quite a bit. We're going to start off with the lady of the bunch, because ladies first. She's got a smile for miles, and she's the reason that you're here. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Tragic Rar.
Ah, the girl who attracts angry ex-Marines. How is everybody doing today?
I'm pretty good. I don't know about you, but before we had started, I told you that all of the stuff fell from my shelving right above the laptop because there, I believe, is a spirit that is wanting us not to have this conversation. But oh no, the power of Chris compels me, and it compels me to introduce everybody's favorite Rob Halford cosplayer. The Clown Prince of Fear, the priest in the Church of Wild Zero. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Arlie Grind, how are you doing, man?
I'm going to need Aaron to cue the drum intro to Painkiller for this. Honk honk, motherfuckers. I'm good. I'm good. We're discussing a film that I absolutely love today. So very excited. George C. Scott.
And we've got one more person here at the table. It's not just the three of us as it usually is. We've got somebody special here at the table. He is the reason I got into horrortok. Like that's a shoot, and I had told him. One of the most unique voices on TikTok, in my personal opinion, and the guy who will tell you all about Jason X. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Andrew Horror.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm the guest today. I wore my guest shirt. Thank you.
Very well done.
Thank you for the kind words. I know you told me that before, but thank you. And thank you for having me.
We need you to cry more, actually. You are amazing.
Cry.
I'll just like love bomb you till you cry. I think that'll be good for this. Yes.
I can't
more tears. Hashtag more tears from the guest. Thank you.
And Andrew, I just want to say, just kind of echo Larry's sentiments. You're one of the first accounts that I followed on TikTok, and instantly fell in love with you and all of your content and your insight on horror movies and your skits. Just everything is chef's kiss. You are the king of horrortok.
Oh.
All hail the king.
Stop it. Thank you. Thank you so much. That really means a lot, for real. I know I joke, and like, that really means a lot, though. Thank you so much. And I'm nobody special, though, you guys. There are better people out there than me. All of them. All the people are better than me.
No. Not in our eyes.
So one of the things that we're doing this month on the show, this being the first episode of the month, we have a theme. The theme is, Rory, you want to tell them?
Ooh, the theme for this month is March Madness. We're doing all psychological horrors this month.
And one of the things that we do when we have somebody join us at the table is they bring something to the table for us to discuss. And Andrew, you brought something pretty girthy, I would say.
Hashtag bring that
all the
girth.
Hashtag Andrew brings girth to the table.
Oh my god.
So
Don't
what
worry,
did you
don't
pick,
worry,
man?
listeners and viewers. It's not going to be one of those episodes.
Who
Maybe.
knows?
Sadly.
Who
Maybe.
knows?
There's no guarantees. We have no guarantees.
But what did you bring to us?
The Exorcist III. I don't know the tagline for The
Evil
Exorcist 3.
kept going.
It's like
But
Do you
Zuzu
dare?
gets an upgrade.
yeah. It's the tagline's something about the stairs. It's like, do you dare walk these stairs again, or something stupid like that. But
They're
Yeah.
barely in the movie, though. I mean,
yeah,
they're
I
in
know
there.
that's the thing. And they're like the poster is
Yeah,
the stairs.
The marketing's all around that fucking
It's
flight
weird.
of stairs, and then
It's
they're in there
weird.
for like half of a fucking second. It makes no sense. Uh, but I feel like, to me, this movie kind of it gives you preconceptions because and I mentioned this to the ghouls, but I haven't mentioned this to you. This is the very first time I've ever seen this fucking movie.
Oh wow.
I'd never seen this movie.
I'd like to chime in too. This was my first time as well. I thought I had saw it when I was younger. I did not. So this was my first viewing as well.
Wow.
I've seen this movie like 100 fucking times.
Cool guy
Me
alert.
too.
Cool guy
Me
alert.
too.
Cool guy
And
alert.
so I don't know about you, Roar, because you also had seen it before, but I walked in with preconceived notions as to what we were going to be getting, and it's not that at all.
No.
Like in any way, shape, or form. They get there eventually. You know, there's actually an exorcism in this movie called The Exorcist, which I was very concerned wasn't going to happen. I was like, "Where are we going? Are we going to ever bring a priest in here? Do we get a
Well,
priest?"
there's a priest. There's some
There's a
priests. I mean, like
priest.
there's
You get more than one. You get a
the plethora of priests. I mean,
There's a-
just
four or five. You get 4 or
it's a
5.
girthy amount of priests.
It's a girth load of priests.
Hashtag girthy priest. Hashtag girthy priest.
Hashtag Catholic school children are having flashbacks.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
Whoa.
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 That's
That was a good
hashtag
one.
Judas girthy priest.
No.
Anywho.
I mean, I'm glad the theme didn't like go over your guys' head though.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
Not at all.
This is intentional. I don't have a collar, so like what's the next best thing?
I know what I'm getting you for your birthday this year.
I mean, gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Oh, fucking A. But again, I just felt like this was so far from what I had expected when I was walking into the film that it took me a little bit of time to really understand where we were going. Like it felt like it was building to something, but it was actually building to something else, and it's still ultimately the same thing. It's just the way that the film is laid out is tonally different than what I had expected it to be.
Larry and Sarah both. You guys have seen Exorcist II, right? That monstrosity that is
Monstrosity.
that is a
I
attempt
feel
at a
like
sequel.
I've seen that. Like there's something
I
with
saw
it's like an insect flying or some shit.
I think that's why a lot of people haven't seen the third one, is because of the second one being such a hot piece of garbage.
Yep.
And a lot of
and it
people
really is.
just tapped out at that point. Like, I'm not watching the third. And honestly, I don't remember my reasoning for not watching it, so I'm not gonna make anything up. But I do remember seeing the second one, and that is it's a movie.
Yeah. That's actually why William Peter Blatty, who wrote and
Mhm.
directed it, didn't want it to be called The Exorcist III because he's like, people are gonna think this has something to do with The Exorcist II, obviously. He just wanted to call it Legion, which is the title of the novel,
Mhm.
or like Legion the Exorcist. Like, don't put the 3 in there to make it seem like it follows 2. But, the studio decided it's the third one, The Exorcist 3. I guess. I don't know. I mean, and that is definitely why this movie I've talked to people about The Exorcist 3, like on TikTok Live. I bring it up all the time. And I've had multiple people tell me, like, oh, I thought I was supposed to stay away from that one, or that was the bad one, or something. I'm like, I think you're thinking of The Exorcist 2, and just the fact that that movie is pretty much widely maligned. Is that the correct word?
Yeah.
Yeah. People just assume that The Exorcist 3 or they don't assume, but it does get lumped into or with The Exorcist 2, which is unfortunate, I guess. Well, it depends on how you both feel about the movie, I guess, if you think that's unfortunate or not. But
Well, we've actually had this conversation on the show before that at one point in time, sequels were just you just knew a lot of sequels were going to come out and they were just going to be shit. They weren't going to be compared to the originals. And that's why you don't see. Yes, you have the iconic franchises and you have a few gems here and there, but I don't know. It's to me like I think throughout all of the 90s there were a ton of movies that just as soon as there was a sequel you were like, no, damn well that's going straight to home video, that's not getting a release, that's they didn't have budget for it. I think that was the norm for a while, so
yeah,
it's very easy to kind of dismiss sequels, particularly if that second one was such a clunker.
yeah. Excluding, of course, Troll and most of the Hellraiser sequels. Those are all pretty great.
That seems fair.
Oh, but you totally left out Bud the Chud. Chud.
Oh
2.
yeah, Chud 2.
Can't forget that
Classic
cinematic
masterpiece.
Amityville,
shit.
1992. It's about time.
Hey, listen. Not a terrible movie. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
I mean, it's no fucking Amityville fucking, was it Dollhouse?
Dollhouse, yeah.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
oh. Guess what I just watched?
Hmm.
Amityville Clown House.
Cool guy alert.
How many fucking Amityville movies are there?
73. Well, the thing
42.
is, Amityville can't be like trademarked, so anybody can make an Amityville movie.
We should make an Amityville movie, actually.
should.
I think that would be a lot of
Amityville
fun.
Yeah, the Amityville Table Podcast.
Just random
Yeah.
references of peen and clinky drinks
Mhm.
at
The
3 o'clock in the
Amityville
morning.
Hashtag
It's
the Amityville table.
Probably already been done, to be honest.
Somebody did something to this fucking table.
So they knock down the house, and someone goes and takes the scrap and builds a haunted table. The table's just going around eating people, levitating.
Somebody put a fucking table together with the scraps at the house, and then somebody came on a Ouija board on top of that table.
Oh, was that a Wounded Fawn reference?
Yes, furiously masturbating onto the Ouija board that's on top of the table that is made from the fucking bones of the Amityville house.
Netflix would greenlight it. I'm just saying.
All right. We got to talk about fucking Brad Dourif.
Okay.
We got to. Oh my God. That fucking performance was out of this world. Like he does something that really fucking lends to what this character is, in the sense that he pulls himself out in and out of what he's, so it's like his facial mannerisms and everything about what he's doing. When he's the Gemini killer, he's intense, but then he's other things, and he is Legion. He is multiple things, and it's Gemini is the astrological sign that represents the twin, and he has the twin of Father Karras, which I thought was very interesting, because in certain points you see Father Karras, in certain points you see the Gemini killer, because he's sharing that body, the corpse of Father Karras.
Yeah.
And it's a battle of wills, and at certain points you hear him say, "I'm tired," and that happens a lot, kind of throughout the story or the film. What did you guys think of Brad Dourif in this?
Ooh. So good. If anybody knows me, they know how big of a Child's Play and Chucky fan that I am. Child's Play is my third or fourth favorite franchise. I love every movie. I love Chucky to death. But this is my favorite Brad Dourif performance. It's amazing, to put it in the simplest terms. And the wild thing is that Brad Dourif was originally cast to replace, like he was recast, so he was supposed to play Father Karras and the Gemini Killer. Originally played by Jason Patrick's dad, of course, everybody knows that. And then, because Jason Miller had some issues, some alcoholic substance abuse issues, and they feared that he wouldn't be able to remember the lines or give the performance that they wanted. And then for some reason, after they filmed, like they wrapped filming, they decided to do reshoots, and they brought in Jason Miller to replace Brad Dourif. So they were going to cut Brad Dourif out of the movie completely because they got Jason Miller. And then Jason Miller wasn't doing such a great job. So they were like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to bring Brad Dourif back. So Brad Dourif already filmed, and they brought him back to reshoot all of his scenes. So all of the scenes that you see in the movie are actually reshoots, which he says aren't as good as the original performances that he did. He said what's in the movie now isn't what it should be. It isn't great like it should be, which, like, I want to see that original footage if he's
Hell
saying that.
yes.
'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
holy shit.
Exactly.
And then,
I mean,
so, like, it was... Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, we talk about like Oscar worthy or award worthy performances, and Brad delivers one, and
Yeah.
just knowing that those are reshoots, I can only imagine how fantastic those original shots were.
Yeah, and I wonder if they're out there. Like, I have the Scream Factory Blu-ray, but I've never, like... I know I've watched the special features, but I can't remember if any of the original footage is on there. I would love to see it. I know I haven't seen it. If they are on there, I haven't watched them, but that's something I'm going to have to seek out, because I just can't imagine how it could be any better than what's in the film now.
That entire movie could have been just him in that cell talking. And I would have been perfectly cool with that. That was an incredible performance. What I loved about it is the way he carried everything off, is that when he's describing these murders and these horrific acts, he's doing it with such detail that they didn't have to show you anything. It was just him talking, and that was so effective. His performance was so beautifully done. It just, it kind of hit you right in the face a little bit. You're just like, oh, okay, this is fantastic. I believe everything about this. I don't even think this is Brad anymore. I really do believe that this is the Gemini killer now.
Yeah.
And the Gemini killer, wasn't that also based off of the Zodiac killer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's only counterbalanced by the performance of George C. Scott, because there are fucking so the movie, to me, it's in 3 years, and it's, you know, you're coasting with that first part. That first portion is really establishing everything, and you get to watch George C. Scott slowly unravel to the point that he gets the point where he's talking to patient X, and it's like a totally different movie from that point on, and it amps up the intensity. So like when his friend is killed and they have the jars of blood, is, you know, him seeing his friend in that fashion is very reserved. But by the time you get to patient X, he is no longer fucking reserved. He is completely fucking unhinged, and it only gets worse from that point on. And they do this thing where they're doing kind of a slow reveal of violence that escalates over the course of the film, where you don't see fucking shit until damn near the end of the film, and then at the end of the film they really show you some stuff. And so I just, that was something that, you know, for being a first time view, that was something that I was really paying attention to, was this reveal, this slow reveal of the violence. And then when they do show violence, it's so excessive that it feels like, ooh, I kind of want to get back away from that. And that to me is incredibly effective, because it's, again, the things that it makes you feel without you seeing it, and creating a mental picture rather than, you know, just them showing you everything, which was very commonplace at the time this movie was released.
Right.
We want to keep going. We got 6 minutes.
Yeah, we got 6 minutes.
Yeah, just run with it.
Did you want to stop and come back, or?
Well, no, because we didn't do the.
We didn't do the Emdables.
Oh
Uh-oh.
shit.
Yeah,
I can knock that out real quick. So.
Sure. Before we get going, Arlie, why don't you give us the Imdables for Exorcist III?
The Imdables. A seemingly endless series of grisly killings that bear the trademark of the mass murderer, the Gemini killer, terrorizes the district of Georgetown. To further complicate matters, although it's been 17 long years since the killer's execution and that fatal night of pure terror in The Exorcist, 1973, skeptical police officer Lieutenant William F. Kinderman is still obsessed with solving the baffling case as the death toll keeps rising. In the meantime, in the city's high-security psychiatric institution, a cryptic inmate who bears an uncanny resemblance to the late Father Damien Karras emerges from a deep catatonic state, claiming that he has all the answers Kinderman needs. But who is the mysterious Patient X? Does the same unholy force that tormented Reagan McNeil have something to do with the brutal, demonic murders? Written by Nick Reganis? Nick Reganis. Good
Way
job.
to go,
Nick.
Nick.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Good job, Nick.
I think you did a good idea. A good idea. A good idea. Good job.
Good idea, yeah.
Yeah,
you did something.
you did something.
It
It was
wasn't an
it was
idea.
words
It was
put
words.
together.
Might have had grammar. I'm not sure. Good job.
Yeah, good ideas.
And I kind of want to circle back real quick to something that Andrew had said, is that the movie was plagued with actors who had drinking problems. George C. Scott was very vocal about his alcohol and substance, alcohol abuse and dependence. Um, but it's amazing to me that someone who had such a severe issue with drinking was able to deliver, in not only in this film but pretty much every single film that man has been. I'm a huge George C. Scott, and watching him kind of make that transition from drama to horror films. This isn't his first. He's got a few notches in the belt, but this one, like, just wow. Like, we've got George doing amazing stuff, and he's bouncing off Brad, which, oh god, like, just those two performances alone make this an instant classic, in my opinion. And any actor, would be actor, should watch this film and just watch, because Brad he's on a bed the whole time. He's not moving around. He's not up and down. He's very limited, and so all of his acting is here. It's all here, and delivery of the lines and everything else.
And he gets to do his single tear because, Brad Dourif needs to cry. That's how he comes.
Is that Brad come?
Brad must cry. Hashtag Brad must cry. I have it in my contract that at least once in the film, tears must come out of my eyes.
He cries in every role, doesn't he?
Yes.
He's got a leaky problem. Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings was the first one I thought of, but I'm pretty sure his eyes were just watering for all of Lord of the Rings.
Oh, what was Larry? Help me out.
Trauma.
The Rats. Stephen King.
Graveyard Shift.
Graveyard Shift. Thank you.
I
yes.
just love killing these fucking rats. God.
But it doesn't seem like anything outside of the characters he's portraying. It works.
Hashtag masterclass on single tier.
Single tier masterclass. Here at the Brad Dourif School of Single Tiers. Do you want to be an actor? Well, come to the Brad Dourif School of Single Tiers, where we'll teach you how to get real intense and let just one trickle down, but we won't let any others out because we're actors, God damn it.
We're professionals.
Is that 2 tiers? Failure.
Fail.
I want you to
never
think
act
about
in this town.
Think about the worst thing that's ever happened to you, but only for a second.
Oh God.
Kid kicked you in the knee, internalize it for half a second. Just half a second. That's all you need, Teddy. The heart of this movie is a crime thriller. It's about a serial killer. And again, I was not expecting that. What do you guys think about the template for this storytelling to be centered around the police and it kind of feeling like a procedural?
I love it. I love movies that are like police procedurals or investigations of serial killers and stuff like that. So when you take that and you marry it with spooky demon possession and, you put Pazuzu in there, it's just perfect combination for me.
I kind of like springboard off of what Andrew said. I love like true crime thrillers and investigative stories like that. This actually reminded me of another one that I thoroughly enjoy, and that's Fallen. with Denzel Washington, and fuck yeah, John Goodman. So that was one that I absolutely loved, and similar, very similar in story too, with demon possession and cops and all that kind of stuff. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Hashtag fuck yeah, John Goodman.
Fuck yeah, John.
Hashtag John Goodman's not dead. Andrew knows.
Mhm.
Andrew knows.
People watched that last season of Roseanne and got confused.
I think, and we have a lot of movies that kind of interweave the police aspect. I mean, we reviewed one on here, The Prophecy. We have, a fallen priest turns cop. Fallen's another one. There's that one with Schwarzenegger that's not very good.
Kindergarten Cop.
yes, that's the one.
Twins.
Twins.
We're talking the Gemini killer. I figured it was twins.
But you, and then like there's been the Hellraiser sequel that involved it, and I think marrying these two concepts together makes for good storytelling if it's done well, if it's executed well. Like we just listed off some examples of stories that were done well versus some that were not. But and it kind of makes sense because if we look at like other franchises, Jason, Freddy, Chucky, well, I guess Chucky's got some cops in it, but we don't see a lot of we don't see a lot of police involvement, which, people are dying. You kind of think, oh, all cops, that would be a part of it.
With the demon possession,
cops,
everyone
though?
automatically goes to priests. No one goes to the cops.
But no one goes to the cops.
Yeah, but yeah, priests are like devil cops.
They're devil cops.
Devil
Demon
cops.
cops.
Yeah.
Demon cops.
Hashtag
We
devil
need that.
cops.
We need that. We need a movie now.
I think they tried to do it with R.I.P.D., but
Oh God.
that took a turn.
Took a turn into a turd.
Correct.
Took a turd.
It took a turn. It was the turd. But I enjoyed it, and I think it works well for this story, especially.
And so this has a really heavy theological template. Also, it's those two ideologies warring with each other in the sense that Kinnaman's character is very much bound by his belief in law, and his belief in God is what's called into question. And even at the end, he refuses to have it be this faith in God. It's more of a faith in evil, than the knowledge that evil exists. That is ultimately what gives him the strength to do what he's able to do, and that's his job, is to stop evil. It's not about faith or religion, though faith and religion are obviously a big portion of this. And the exorcism doesn't go very well in the sense that my boy gets peeled like a potato. Hashtag Mr. Potato Priest.
Beat me to it.
So
Hashtag not taters precious.
Hashtag priestly taters precious.
But I want Arlie, because I know you have kind of some insight on religion, for you to bring some of that religious funk to the table.
Oh, absolutely. So, that's a lot to unpack here. So religious devotees, which we see within the context of this film, will always fall back on God or the devil as justification for why things are. And Kinderman is the polar opposite of that, because I mean he recognizes that evil exists, but he doesn't dive into the motivations or the root of those evils. It's just evil exists. My job is to stop this evil. Where the religious devotee would want to throw all the blame, all the context, you know, whenever something good happens, oh, the Lord has blessed me. And whenever something bad happens, oh, it's the devil. You know, it's just this, it's always one or the other. There's no nuance and everything. And so Kinderman's character kind of reins in that religious zealotry that comes into play with the priest that is killed in the confessional, and the way his remains are put on display. Kinderman does not, in my opinion, he views it as a grisly, evil murder, but nothing more. Where someone with more religious ties could see what the Gemini killer was trying to say with just how he displayed the body, and how the remains were left. So it's always very interesting to me that when it comes to religion in movies, they kind of play on these tropes, and this one kind of steers away from some of those tropes. Kinderman and the priest, they go see a movie, you know, and they're joking, and they're having these conversations. They get in that little back and forth in the hospital and everything else, and he doesn't really feel like a priest. He feels like like priest is just his job.
Yeah.
And it's not, he's not. I mean, he throws out a little bit of spiritual wisdom, but he's not harping on it. And I think that's an element that helps this story and helps this movie be so digestible, especially for people that may not like religion very much. I mean, I don't know very many people like that, but
I also thought it was really interesting that both of them, when asked about their plans, they both say that they're helping the other one. That they both are dealing with this. They have a hard time dealing with it for the other person, to not put it on themselves, and that they're bonded by that trauma. That trauma is ultimately the catalyst of their friendship, because Kinderman's friendship was with Karis through the course of, you know, both of their cases kind of aligning, in the sense that Kinderman is looking into the death of a director, and Karis is looking into the possession of a child, and those two paths cross, and that's how they become friends. In this, the priest and the cop are bonded by the trauma of the loss of Karis, and it being the thing that brings them back to each other once a year, and they go see It's a Wonderful Life. And you know, that in itself is interesting, because, you know, what is that movie about? It's about an angel that, you know, gives somebody a second chance and takes them out of themselves. And that's kind of what they're doing with the Karis character, is, you know, he's being pulled out of himself, and they're able to do this thing where they multiple possessions, in the sense that that entity is able to take over the bodies of these people inside of the mental institution. And that's the third element. You know, we've got the law, we've got religion, but then the third element is mental health, you know, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, whatever.
Real quick, going back to the relationship of the two, I will say that, in my opinion, allegedly for legal purposes, the dialogue between those two was the only thing that kept the beginning of the movie interesting. Yeah. It was very slow moving. It was you had no idea which direction we were kind of going, but it was kind of like dragging. And I felt like those smartassy back and forth quippy conversations with those two actually kind of saved it. And it was almost like they were trying to make up for the slow moving with the dialogue, which was really enjoyable to listen to those two.
Yes.
Especially if you have any kind of smart assy friends. Hi guys.
Do we have one of those? Is
We
there
have
one
a
of those?
few.
Is there any at the table?
Can't think of one.
No.
No. Never. Never. Sorry.
But the therapist in the hospital, the main therapist, Herschel from The Walking Dead, is enabling this to happen because Gemini, not Phil Collins.
Hashtag in the air tonight. Hashtag do the drum solo.
but Gemini has gotten into the ear of this therapist, and he's using him as a puppet to get him into contact with Karen, and that's fucking wild to me. That's what he's trying to do with him, and George C. Scott's just like, no, fuck you. I'm not going to even acknowledge that you're the Gemini. No, Gemini's dead. He sees things in black and white, regardless of how colorful everything is, and it's like Batman and the Joker in a really interesting way, because that is the relationship with the two characters. Is the one wants the other to give in, but he refuses because of his belief system. And his belief system isn't the belief system of religion, it's the belief system of good and evil and law and order. And just, what do you guys think of that?
I think Andrew, you should talk a little bit because you are the guest and we've kind of been like steamrolling through this. And
no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Man, I'm trying to like rack my brain around everything Larry just said to come. I think you said it perfectly. Like, in terms of Scott Wilson, who I don't remember what his character's name is in this movie. Even though I've seen it like a million times, I can't think of what his name is. But there's the scene where he's like he like has written down and is rehearsing what he's going to say to Kinderman. It's just so weird. Like, this guy, he's like practicing what he's gonna say to this.
He seems sketchy right off the bat.
Yeah, he seems sketch Lord 2000. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I think there's so Dr. Temple. That's
Temple. Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Temple.
I don't know if they even say
Is
that.
that Shirley's uncle?
Yeah,
Shirley's uncle. Yeah,
Shirley's uncle. Don't call me Shirley. But everyone seems motivated by fear.
Yeah.
In this film, except for Kinderman. I mean, Kinderman, obviously he's afraid for the safety of people and everything else, but it's fear. So like with Dr. Temple, he's being influenced by this entity, and he's terrified. Like no, I don't want to die. I'm going to do whatever you say. And yet he meets an untimely demise regardless. And even that, like Andrew brought up, he's practicing what he said because he's afraid. He's afraid of Kinderman. He's afraid of the entity. He's afraid of everything else. He's just a fearful man. who cannot do the right thing out of fear. He's impotent by fear, with fear. And it's a very interesting character who's not in the movie very much, but I think is an essential part of this story, and just showing how devious and almost powerful this entity is. It's almost like the Nurse Ratched character, which that's never fully fleshed out.
No. And
Like,
it needed to be. That's something that needed to be. Yes. Can we
It's
just
like-
add too that any movie that takes place in a hospital, it adds a different level of dread for a lot of people. Me particularly, at one point in time, I had a fear of hospitals. So, and I don't know if it's because it's so clinical or because you know what kind of things go on behind the doors in a hospital. I think always being in that hospital was just unnerving, and you kind of felt that watching this throughout the whole thing. I do want to bring something up though before we get too far in. Can we talk about that dream sequence, please?
Featuring Fabio.
Featuring
and,
Fabio.
Patrick Ewing.
and Samuel L. Jackson
We
is
got
also in there.
Patrick Ewing from the
There's so much going on there.
I love
You guys are talking about Fabio. I just want to know, how the fuck did you rope Patrick Ewing into this? I want to know that story. I really do. Like, that's his heyday. 1990, he was dominating the East Coast. I mean, he was the MVP. And then all of a sudden, it's like, I'm an angel that can dunk on your ass.
Yeah, Grand Central Station with Fabio.
Hashtag dunk for the Lord.
Dunks
I love
for
that.
Jesus.
I think that dream is my favorite scene in the movie, I think. I love when he's talking to the little boy and he's like, I'm sorry you got murdered. Like, that's
just
something
nonchalantly.
that's a sentence you've said to somebody before, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And
Oh, Mr. Kinderman, no big deal.
yeah. And then you get to Father Dyer, who's like got his freaking all the stitches, and what does he say? Like, I'm not dreaming or something like that, which tells you, okay,
something just happened.
This is real. This is essentially purgatory. I'm guessing that's what they were going for. And it's just
I know my purgatory would have Fabio in it. I'm pretty sure.
For sure. That's
stunning looking too.
Mine would have Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Just saying.
Mine would definitely have dwarfs. Big booty dwarfs.
Big booty dwarfs.
Hashtag big booty dwarfs.
Rolling up on you in a van.
Hashtag big booty dwarf
angels. Andrew brought up a really good point, and I know we kind of laugh at that line, but I think it's a testament to the Kinderman character. Again, he's just accepting the reality of, hey, I'm sorry you got, like, what else are you going to say? And he's just, but he's facing, even in that dream sequence, he's facing life, how he would facing death, if you will, how he would face, like, this is just the reality. There's good, there's bad. Good things happen, bad things happen. And I
will say that was one of the things that I may not have enjoyed the dream sequence as much as others, because I'm sorry, but I did find it kind of laughable at that point. But I will say for the rest of the movie, and particularly from the beginning on, anytime you get like a thought or a dream or anything, this was jarring. It was very jarring. It immediately took you into that kind of with no context. And I actually found that to be very interesting. And I enjoy that type of style of filmmaking. And, but once I saw Fabio and Wings, I was like, okay, yeah, no.
Yeah.
So like, it's no.
So random.
It was random.
I mean,
And
I want to
they
know the
made sure to
choice.
pan.
Yeah.
They made sure. And I was like,
Fabio had that in his contract. He's like, you have to linger on me for at least 3
Linger.
seconds.
I'm surprised he didn't hold up. I can't believe it's not butter or something, to be honest with you. And yeah,
I wanted to see the hair.
no, if we're being honest, I mean that's what I want to imagine angels look like. Just ruggedly handsome Fabio with his long golden locks, just with that jawline and shit. That's my angel. I want to be touched by that angel.
Fabio is Larry's angel.
Hashtag,
Is he on Cameo? Can we get him a birthday present?
Hashtag Fabio's my angel.
hashtag touched by the Fabio angel.
Hashtag touched by Fabio. We're gonna let Andrew start us off with the ghoulies. And Andrew, I don't know if you know how this works out, but 0 is the lowest, 5 is the highest. How many ghoulies are you coming in with?
Oh, and Andrew, if you give it a half, you have to tell us if it's the bottom half or the top half.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
No pressure.
The Exorcist III. I love this movie. I don't even know what word to say, like, to describe how much I love it. I should preface this by saying I believe the original Exorcist, the first Exorcist, is a masterpiece. It's one of the greatest horror films ever made. I'm sure a lot of people would agree with that. Some edgelords might not. But this, and one of the big things about this is the friendship dynamic between Kinderman and Dyer. And it feels to me like when I'm watching the movie, it just seems so natural. Like it doesn't seem like they're acting. It seems so real and natural. And it's like, I have to wonder if I know they're both great actors, Ed Flanders, not to be confused with Ned Flanders from The Simpsons.
His cousin.
And I wonder
stupid sexy Flanders.
and George C. Scott. I know they're both incredible actors, but I gotta think, were they like friends in real life?
So I
Because it seems so.
I listened to an interview with Ed Flanders, and he said that he had only met him like once before they had actually done the movie.
And that's crazy, and that's just a testament to how great they are.
Yeah,
it's like, I love everything about like the paranormal demon possession stuff. That's cool. Obviously, I'm into that shit. But like, if this was just a drama and it had them two in it, I would still love it. And and I always forget that Father Dyer dies relatively quickly in the movie, and it's just, I don't know, so good. Overall, The Exorcist III, like I already said, I think The Exorcist is a masterpiece, and it's a better film objectively, but I enjoy watching The Exorcist III more, and I rewatch it more often. So I would give The Exorcist III 5 ghoulies.
Ooh.
5 ghoulies. I love it to death. Absolutely love it.
I've got the Brad Dourif single tear because that was beautiful.
5 ghoulies,
Well,
5 ghoulies, and they all have the Brad Dourif single tear running down.
Now, Larry, was that Andrew's performance or?
And just his recitation of his beliefs on how great Exorcist 3 was, it brought just one tear to my eye. Only
Just
one. Only
Just
one. But Arlie, what do you got for ghoulies?
What do you think I got for ghoulies on this one? Yeah, so everything that Andrew said, yes. The performances, Brad, George C. Scott, Ed Flanders, even the supporting cast do such a wonderful job in this movie and telling this story. The story is complex, but it's not A24 complex. Like it's not trying to be artsy, or it's just a good story, good storytelling. So and I watched this sequel more than I watched the first film. I think I've only seen the second film twice, maybe 3 times. So I am gonna come in with 5. I'm giving this one 5. This gets 5 for me.
Woo!
But only 4 of them have a single tear.
Oh,
The last one, he's banging his fist on the desk and saying, "It's not in the file."
it's not in the file. What are you telling me? How did we go this whole time? And I forgot to mention, I'm sorry I'm throwing it. I forgot to mention in my pre-ghoulie reveal the jump scare.
Yes.
Oh, we didn't.
And we
about
haven't
that.
talked about it at all.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, I
which-
know it makes everybody's list of top jump scares. It's at this point, like it used to be not as popular or well known, but nowadays it is. But just the whole build up to it, and it's every time I watch the movie, it still gets me, even though I know it's coming. It's just it's so good. It's so good.
Agreed.
Extra ghoulie for that one.
Oh, so shit. It's
Oh,
got 6 ghoulies.
You got
for
a 6 ghoulie.
This is a first, but I'm gonna allow it.
Sorry.
Is it a Fabio Angel ghoulie?
It's a Fabio Angel headless.
He gave his no. He gave his ghoulie an upgrade.
The ghoulies gets an
Oh.
upgrade.
It's an upgrade.
Do the roar.
Yeah, do the roar.
Do the roar. Do I have to? Wait. I can't ever do it because Jason X evil gets an upgrade. There was something in my throat when I did that, so
We did it. Okay.
apologize.
I am going to come in a little bit lower than both of them. I thought this was a tremendous movie. I thought that Brad Dourif gave an amazing performance, but the pace is a little bit for me. And it just, I'm not saying that it lost me, but it's not something I feel like I can watch multiple times. It feels like it was gratifying to get to that point, but I don't feel like it's a journey I'd want to take multiple times. It's kind of a slog. So for me, it's going to be 4 out of 5 ghoulies. And Roar, what about you?
So this was my first watch of this movie. I was having issues with the beginning of the movie. I will say I will criticize it just a little bit. The first half of the movie and the second half of the movie, they're 2 completely different movies. And it felt weird getting to the end of that movie. Like it was almost like they tacked on the exorcism for the namesake of the movie. But the performances alone, just this was so well done. And if the performances would have been any of them would have been off, this would have been a terrible movie, in my opinion. I will go ahead and I'm going to give this 4 out of 5 as well. Just honestly, for Brad Dourif's performance alone, it gets that way. It was that good. And I really enjoyed seeing the descent of the main character go down. Like he's wound tight from beginning to end, and then when he finally kind of lets go, he lets go of all of that. Yes, I believe in evil. What are you going to do about it? You know, like that's how it came across to me whenever it got to that point in the movie. And it was kind of refreshing to see you go off of the beaten path instead of, oh, I love Jesus too. No, I know everything's shit. You don't scare me, you know? So I thought that was amazing. So yeah, I'm coming in at a 4 out of 5.
Patton versus the devil. I love it.
Yeah. Real good. But that is going to do it for us. We're going to get out of here. If you want to find out more about the podcast, you can do that in a couple of different ways. You can start by liking us on Facebook, facebook.com/Ghoul Kids Table, following us on Twitter at Ghoul Kids Table, following us on Instagram at GKT Podcast, and on the Tick'em Talks at Ghoul_Kids_Table. But Andrew, where can they find you in the world of social medias?
They can find me, hopefully, on TikTok at Andrew Horror 31. I should be unbanned by the time this hits the airwaves. I have Instagram. I believe it's Andrew Horror 31 as well. Letterboxd, if you're into Letterboxd. Same on Letterboxd. Same on YouTube. I haven't really posted much on YouTube, but I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. So hopefully that gets rolling. And I think that's it. I think that's all I have. I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Follow them on all those places. Rar, what about you?
You can find me at the Tick'em Talks at Tragic Rar.
That's RAWR.
It brings my heart joy in the morning.
This sounds like a radio station.
RAWR
in the morning. Hard rock.
The best radio station.
Kicking your morning off with Headstrong.
And Arlie, what about you?
You can find me on TikTok, Arlie Grind, or Top Shelf 4. You can find me on Instagram, Top Shelf 4. You can find me on Twitter, Arlie TSH. Facebook, Top Shelf 4. And we have a Discord. Links are in my TikTok profile. I believe they're in Roar's TikTok profile as well.
And the Ghoul Kids Table profile as well.
Okay,
so.
Excellent. So so come join our Discord. Things are fun. Occasionally horny, but things are fun.
Occasionally girthy.
There's some girth.
Well, definitely some girth.
Not visual girth. We don't allow that. That's a hard no.
Is it now?
Yes. I've been on Discords before. So much pain. So much pain.
Hashtag so much pain.
That's all Discord is good for, I guess.
Larry, where can we find you?
You can find me on the Tick'em Talks at Chunky's Creature Features, or anywhere else in the internet world at CreaturePod. But that is going to do it for us, you guys. For Andrew, for Rar, for Arlie, and for me. Again, my name is Chunky. This has been another episode of the Ghoul Kids Table Podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. There's always a seat waiting for you here at the table. Take it easy, you guys. Hate that line.
Take her sleazy.
Take her sleazy.
Kink, am I right? All right, so we got 3 minutes to talk before this thing kicks us off.
3 minutes to midnight.
Wrong band.
Oh.
Though I do love my Iron Maiden. Oh God.
Who doesn't?
Born in the war.
I should have brought this up, but there are 2 Iron Maiden songs influenced by both The Exorcist and The Exorcist III.
Are there really? I didn't know that.
Well, loosely, what's his name? Bruce
Dickinson.
Bruce Dickinson is a huge fan of horror movies, and he really likes both those films. No comment on the second one. So, but he said they influenced. What's the name of the song? It's not Number of the Beast, but they're on later albums.
I know it too, but I'm blanking out completely.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about.
I know which one you're talking about.
Oh, and we should have brought this up. I just looked up the cast real quick. Patrick Ewing was the Angel of Death. That was his official.
Angel of Death.
Angel of Dunks, more like it.
Death by Dunk.
Death by Dunk.
He just sinks one right on your head.
I want to see that movie now too, please. Thanks.
He's a hired hitman.
Andrew, thank you so much for joining us today. You're always amazing.
Thank you for inviting me. This was fun.
And thank you for the pick too. Like 2 of us hadn't seen it before, so that's pretty awesome. Actually, you don't get that too often.
Yeah, I didn't know you guys hadn't seen it. That was pretty cool.
Usually, when we pick a movie, we try to you can guess here and there how we feel about it individually, but we won't talk about it until the show.
Right.
So.
I had a other pick. I sent Larry 2 choices, and he picked The Exorcist III. The other one was The Killing of a Sacred Deer. If anybody's seen that one. It's a very bleak movie.
Is it as good as A Wounded Fawn?
Hashtag furiously masturbating in the sink.
We're on to a
Because
Ouija.
Hooters.
Yeah, we're about to get kicked off of here, but thank you guys so much. Love you all.
Thank everybody.
This is so beautiful.
I love it so much. I can't stand it. I'll probably see you guys later on the Sick of Times. I don't know what it was like. I need a hug. I need all the things. I just can't stand
You guys are
being with them.
overdoing it. On 1 tier.
Only one tier.
Sorry.
Only the one.